What's up, YouTube? Delio coming to you with another video on the YouTube channel in the gratitude series. This will be episode number 4, and this one wasn't really brought up by any questions. I'm not getting too many questions, but that's okay. Still got some more I'm going to address as the videos come up. I'm doing a video every week, so if you got a question or comment, or maybe there's a topic you just want me to talk about, maybe you may not have a question, but you maybe want to hear my opinion on something, feel free to drop that in the comments below. And let's go ahead and continue to enjoy this series. I'm learning to build exercise of consistency by creating content like this. So let's talk about this. If you haven't been living on a rock, you've been on YouTube and you're a music producer, you're probably searching for content pertaining to music producers or artists and ran across the Unison Midi Chord pack. So I've heard a lot of different things about this thing. Like I've heard like it's been stolen from other people have stolen from it. And then I also learned about there being some open source chord pack on Reddit that you can download for free that has a bunch of chord packs in there. So I think it's a good idea as I think about this to talk about this. Why is this a thing? Where did it come from? Why is it so successful? Because if there's one thing I know about Unison and the MIDI chord pack, they have a budget to bring people into the videos. And you know how you do. You got somebody making a beat and they drag it in. It's like, oh, wow, man, this is amazing. And that must have got a positive response because their budget for advertising this MIDI chord pack is off the chain. I mean, they really put out a lot of money into those ads. I've done Google ads myself with a shoestring budget, and and it does generate views and it does get your content in front of people. Doing Google ads over YouTube, that does generate something there, but it does cost money and it does take time to get that in front of people. But it I believe it does work, and I still need to explore that. But obviously people are buying it. But my question is why? And this goes back into the previous video where I was talking about learning how to play. The reason that, in my opinion, the MIDI chord pack is so successful is because a lot of producers out there do not know how to play. They do not know how to play a piano and play chords and all of that stuff. And for me, it's very hard for me as an individual to relate to not being able to play because for as long as I can remember, I could play. So it's very important for me to express a little bit of compassion for those who may not have that skill in play. And I can't judge them for not being able to play because maybe they got some skills that don't have. For example, music production. There may be somebody who cannot play who has it down or has the right mindset, mentality, and skills and connects to get their stuff in front of more people than I can. And so that's a whole different skill. So I can't pass judgment on there, but I am saying that it must have been a need for this because there's a lot of producers and musicians who cannot play. So they figure out what's the fastest solution to make your life easier. How do you solve a problem? Well, if I create a MIDI loop pack, then boom. And even I have MIDI loop packs on my website, Delio T2K Out in the Chemicals Season 2. I have MIDI packs on there as I dip my toe into the massive ocean of MIDI chord packs on the internet. And so this chord pack served a purpose for a lot of producers who want the quick fix. And we all want the quick fix. And I tell you, I know I want that quick fix myself. I want that quick fix to meet the right person, to get my music in front of the right people, and all that stuff. And there's no quick fix. I wish there was, but there's no quick fix. Like you could download this MIDI pack and drag it into your session, and boom, you got chords going through your favorite VST. And then you can drag a loop in for a beat, and then boom, you got a beat, and you're done. And I do imagine that's probably pretty pleasurable to see that happening so fast and quickly. However, there's a trade-off to that because, again, when you're using MIDI packs, you don't develop the skill of playing. And then what happens when you go through all the MIDI packs? Like, it almost feels like, oh, I got 60,000 MIDI loops, so I got beats forever. I'm going to make it. It's not quite the case. Or I got splice, so that means I have drums and loops forever. Doesn't quite work like that because the inspiration doesn't always come from that. And sometimes you can be, it's almost like Netflix, right? Say you got a subscription to Netflix, or you have a friend a subscription to Netflix, and you have this massive ocean of choices of video content. And after you've binged your favorite series, and then you binged another favorite series, and maybe you might have rewatched something else that you liked that you haven't watched in a while, you're now at a point like, I don't even want to watch Netflix anymore. I don't really even want to watch anything on Netflix anymore. You got all this content. Remember when you had cable TV and you had all these channels and there was nothing to watch, but you had over 100 channels to choose from? There's a dopamine factor that's involved with MIDI chord pack. There's a dopamine factor with Netflix content videos. There's a dopamine factor. The reason new movies are interesting to us because there's an opportunity to have a new pleasure, a new dopamine response to this. And I think that also plays a role in our music production. So, if you reduce the stress of coming up with your own chords or listening to songs and studying them and playing them, because that does take time and it's not easy. It's hard at first, and you have to go through that process. Now you have something, boom, you can just drag in your MIDI chords and you're done. Or you can just drag in your loop and you're done. And this works for people. It works for me sometimes. But sometimes I'm like, I get very fascinated by the chords that come out from these old 90s R&B songs and gospel songs and learning how to play them yourself. And then the cool thing is, here's where this is the delayed gratification, because once you learn how to play that and you go play that live somewhere in front of people and then they get a response, that to me is worth more than having a billion loops and a billion MIDI packs. Because, yeah, you may have a connection by including out a loop and a drum loop and then you're in the studio and somebody else bottom. That's a connection. That's a connection. But developing a skill to create on the spot and to perform on the spot is a skill you can take with you to the studio, and you can just grow from that and just knock people out the water with that skill set. So, again, the Unison Chord Pack serves a purpose. They obviously have a budget for this, and they create this to meet a need in the market. Obviously, there's a need in the market for this, or it wouldn't be here. So I can't judge them for that, though I do struggle sometimes with wanting to use that myself, and I haven't purchased this, so I'm not talking from a place of, oh, I know it sucks. I'm not going to say that, because I obviously, if I look at it from a purely analytical perspective, and I try to take the narcissism out, and I try to take the whatever negative way I could look at it out, it serves a purpose, but I do question how original can you be with it. Now let's look at it on the flip side. There's only so many chords you can play on the piano anyway, so you're going to play a chord that someone else has already played ahead of time. The only difference is that they're dragging theirs in and you're clicking yours in. And at the end of the day, I think it's all right to be okay with that. I think it's all right to be okay with you using MIDI chord packs if that's what you got a budget for. If you want to try that approach, do that. Maybe learning how to play it is struggling. Maybe you may not have the patience to learn how to play a piano. Maybe you may not have the patience to learn how to play scales. Or, even worse, not believe you can. If you don't believe you can learn how to play, you're not going to learn. If you don't believe you can get placements, you're not going to try and get placements. If you don't believe all that stuff, if you don't believe you can heal from trauma, if you don't believe you can heal from bad things happening, things happen to us as people. Things happen to us. I don't like that things happen to us, but things happen to us, and guess what? Even better, people happen to us. And I don't like the truth that people happen to us. Circumstances happen to us. So certain circumstances that you may have came from may have created a situation where you need MIDI loops. And if you need that to create, that's great. But I do feel like you miss out on something great by not putting more effort into learning how to play. And this is coming from a musician. And sometimes even I lag behind. Like yesterday, I was in a situation, I was filming this video at this film studio, and I didn't know the Christmas songs. So I played melodies on my synthesizer because I really didn't know exactly the full extent of what I was getting into. I didn't really do it. I was trying to get information, but the information and the communication just wasn't there enough for me. So I couldn't quite really understand what was going on. And it was last minute, which I hate doing things last minute and even getting involved or saying yes to anything that's last minute, because it puts you in a very uncomfortable position. And sometimes that can happen for a long time. So there's that. But That's an important conversation about Unison Midi Chord packs. I honestly am not polarized by this. The only thing I am is just annoyed by the ads. Like, I'm tired of seeing the ad. Like, but they got the budget to put themselves in front of you. So I hope that they make their money so they can stop putting these ads out and do something else, because I'm tired of the ads. All right. Y'all take care. I'll see you on the next video. There's a touch. And if you guys a topic you want me to talk about, make sure you let me know in the comments below. All right. I'm out of here. Peace out.